Om Patram Tane Vishnuyam Devaha Patram Pashyamakshapeyajatra Sthirairangai Stushtvagum Sastanuvi Vyashema Devahitayadayu Swastina Indro Vriddashkrava Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The build-up has been done very nicely. Build-up of what? Yajna. What yajna gives, what is yajna, all that we saw. And it's like anything. You can substitute yajna with anything. Any activity which is time-consuming, effort, full of effort, full of exhaustion, and leaves you more exhausted than when you began. And then not only that, it was fruitless, futile. Then the fine print tells you that without this, this is futile. So then you have to do this, this, this. Then when you do this, 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 then you're just given one small little, candy at the end. That's all it is. A lot of hype about nothing. But the hype, to show that the hype is all about nothing, the hype has to be built up, And in those days, yajna was all that they knew, and this is given by the Vedas, so it was a sacred activity. And it doubled up as potluck, it doubled up as a music concert, it doubled up as some kind of a chanting competition, and it doubled up as social, wear your Sunday best and talk to people. It doubled up as a Sunday service, This is how you caught up with everybody. It was just an all thing. This was a way for people to gather. They say that the Eskimos have multiple words for snow. That's why we have multiple words for fire. Kali, Karali, Manojava. We are a pyro culture. And so this is how, it's very natural. This is how it proceeds. And so, therefore, the phala of the yajna is incomplete without doing all the so-called satellite rituals. So it took the whole Agnihotra as a concept and showed how the Agnihotra, even though innocuous looking as it is, it's connected to so many things. it's connected to other things which you do. You're already lighting the fire. Now, why not light it also on full moon days and new moon days? Then why not also 4 times a year give something? And why not also do this? And once you are in the cycle of doing, it's very difficult to stop. Yeah, very difficult to stop. And so therefore, it is mentioned that this is what I started to talk about last time, is that there are 2 kinds of punya done from yajna. You know, phala apurva, I said, is the final punya which is kept in abeyance, which you power to take you to lokas. Then in intermediate there is also utpatti apurva, which is the result of doing satellite rituals, satellite or satellite-like rituals. So together, I mean that the point of this conversation is that the utpatti apurva doesn't give you anything right then except tears and fears. We talked about that. It goes and joins after you do everything, the phala apurva, after the main ritual, satellite ritual, everything is completed, and then it will give you results. What will it do? It will give you wonderful results. Like what? You know, what can it possibly give? And that is described in the next mantra. Katham tat katham, you know, katham suryasya rashmibhihi yajamanam rashmibhihi yajamanam vahanti iti uchyate. How do these this combo, what is the combo? The combo of the punya turning into or operated by, remotely operated by sunbeams. Take this yajamana, the one who does yajanam. Yajanam means yajna, this yajna doer. One who says, I am the karta of the yajna, they take him means, you know, because it is masculine we say him, it could be her. Take him or her. You know how? This is how they take him. Ehyehi tamahutayas suvarchasah.
Ehyehi tamahutayas suvarchasah.
Ehyehi tamahutayas suvarchasah.
Ehyehi tamahutayas suvarchasah.
Suryasya rashmibhiryajamanam vahanti.
Suryasya rashmibhiryajamanam vahanti.
Priyam vacham abhivadantyorjayantyah.
Priyam vacham abhivadantyorjayantyah.
Eshavah punyah sukrito brahmalokah.
Eshavah punyah sukrito brahmalokah.
So this is what they do. This is what happens. Ehi, iti. So how do they take? You know, they say, you know, come to me. Come. Ihi, actually it is. Ringatav, lot, madhyama purushanta, ekvachana. So, ihi. But where does this ehi come from? You add an a. A plus ihi, ehi. What is this a? Meaning there is nothing left in the welcome. It's an all-inclusive welcome package with a limo, swing low sweet chariot. It includes limo and then some nice jasmine flower garland, corsage, and then what else? And then it includes some serenading apsaras of the lower variety, and you know, because they should be hanging low, and the serenading apsaras are sent to give some nice music, some wonderful ringtones. And then what happens as a result of that? Then there is one more celestial servant giving some fruit juice, you know, in a nice little golden goblet. And then you say, oh, for me? Yes, for you. Ehi, come. And then what? Can I keep the glass? It is studded with gems. The goblet studded with gems. And this fellow with a human mind, looking at everything and being so enamored. And the limo, swing low, sweet chariot coming forth to carry me to Punyaloka is there. And you see the chariot and you say, oh, and the chariot is powered by Hamsa, swans, the celestial swans of the milk and water separating variety. And the swans give you a slow wink and you are just enamored. Oh, you are in love with the swans. Can I sit in front? Sure, no problem. You can have the full view of where you are going to be carried. And then velvet cushions with fanning apsaras, gently fanning. One is fanning, the other one is waving this fly whisk made of oxtail, several oxen, and with a little golden, this thing is called chamara, golden handle, is fly whisk so that no bugs, nothing come. It's all ceremonial. And then another devata is sprinkling rose attar, rose water. Yes. Not the cheap variety you can buy from Vishnu shop. Very no, very expensive, culled, distilled from real roses. The local one is just mostly water with a little bit and if you keep it open for 5 minutes, everything goes. It's just water. Might as well catch it from the tap. This is real, celestial rose infusion. And they gently sprinkle and then they give this goblet full of wonderful soma juice concoction. It's called seventh heaven concoction, 7 lokas. And a signature drink which is not found anywhere here, full of exotic fruits and all kinds of things. And the flower garland that they have garlanded you with, the scent is so heady that you lose your senses. Already all 28 teeth are out, not counting the 4 wisdom teeth that were sacrificed early on. Then the person just goes. And then even to get into this car or this ratha, you don't even put the foot on the ground. There are velvet, cushions in the shape of lily pads where you can just softly, and each one is coated in gel so that you can, just soft. So you just, one pad over another pad and and then you just go nicely. And as soon as you sit in this chariot, there are paricharakas, heavenly servants, adjusting the cushions. Oh, little bit plumping here, little bit pushing there. Oh, this is not proper. Oh, your poor back. Oh, here, let's just make this all right for you. Come. And who are these, who are doing these? All these celestial servants, which have been converted by what? By all the ghee that you put, have been converted into these angels. Yeah. These angels. These ahutayaha, these ahutis become these brilliant suvarchasaha ahutayaha. These brilliant ahutis. Deeptimatyaha ahutayaha. And these ahutis, what do they turn into? They turn into punya. And the punya makes these servants, these celestial help, multiply. More punya means few more people fawning over you. When? The question is when? At the time of yajna? No, thank God. Yeah, because no one will do yajna. If ehi call comes at the end of the yajna, nobody will touch the yajna. It is at the end of a long and old life. After living a full life, toothless, hairless, senseless, nothing original is remaining. At that time, when everything is, all the senses are gone, then the summons come. Ajao, come, 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 come. It's being low, and then one feels so safe. And this Yajamana, who is this Yajamana? Not a one-time yajna person. Whole life he has done yajna. And unto that same fire in which he did yajna, the body was sacrificed. That fellow who has done everything faithfully according to the verses from 1 to 6 that we studied. That fellow is carried. And not only that, as though this is not enough. Furthermore, sweet nothings are whispered into the ears of the Yajamana. Priyam Vacham. Priya Vak. Priyam Vacham means sweet words. Are you the one who was a Nityagnihotri? How did you do that? Did you do this yajna all by yourself? Yeah, I forgot conveniently that the wife slogged and did everything. He just sat in front of the fire. Took all the credit. Yeah, it was me. And these sweet words, they bring out the karta, the doer, even more. Did you do this all by yourself? You know what? There are only a few hundred Agnihotris in India. You are one of them. Wonderful. And you say, how nice. Then also some more sweet talk. Nobody has done so much punya. We are in the business of decoding punya every day. In fact, this kind of a fanfare welcome we haven't given anybody in the recent time. Oh, really? Oh, thank you for letting me know. No one? Not even the neighbor who passed away last month? No. Oh, him. We just didn't even have, his chariot didn't even have cushions. Oh, this is what the Priyam Vacham, this is what the Priya Vak looks like. Sweet talk, small talk, chit chat. So how are you feeling right now? Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Are you sad about leaving the wife and the children behind? No, not really. I never really got along with them. She was all right. All the time asking me to do work. That's what she was doing all the time. And she had no time for me because she was doing everything all the time. And so, not really. And but you know what? If you can arrange this, I'd like to see what they are doing right now. Oh, no problem. Wear these, Google glasses. You'll be able to see. Celestial glasses. And then he puts on the glasses. Wife is sad, the children are sad, then he is happy. Oh, they miss me. How nice. And then the Priya Vak also includes statements such as, nobody is a better yajna person than you. And look at that feeding of the 1,000 people that you did. No banquet was as lavish as yours. And when you fed the needy and the poor and you made all those donations, no donation was, more blessed than yours. Oh, how nice, what a release, what a relief. And these kinds of sweet talks, as though this is not enough, they also do 108 names of you. Archayantyaha. Yeah, Archana they do. Archana means a invocation of worship. Yajamanaya Namaha. Unto this Yajamana Namaha. And they call you by 108 lovely names. And they have brought all the flowers to do like this and give you all holy names they call you by. And they're sprinkling rose water and flowers and, that yellow rice, akshata, everything. And this fellow feels like he is in heaven. Not really, he is in heaven, not just a feeling. And they say, this is, oh, thank you, thank you. The person says out of sheer gratitude. And they say, shh, don't thank us. This is your own deserved punya. You have worked hard for it. And they talk in all these dulcet tones. You have worked so hard for it. Nobody can be like you. So don't thank us. We are just the manifestation of your good deserts. Come with us now. And thus saying, they lead this Yajamana to Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka? Not really Brahmaloka. As though Brahmaloka. Then why are you calling it Brahmaloka if it's not Brahmaloka? Well, look at the context. How did we start? Om Brahma Devanam Prathamas Sambhabhuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta. We started with Brahmaji. So in reverence to how it was started, we call it Brahmaloka. But really, if you think that this life of, ODing on Yajna alone can give you Brahmaloka, I have news for you. And in fact, I told you this last week. What was that? Yajna alone is not enough. What do you need to go to Brahmaloka? Yajna plus upasana, meditation. Yeah. That is the thing. Where will I find time for upasana? That's not our problem. You have to find time. Skip a few meals. That's all. But how to skip meals? Stop cooking. Then you'll skip meals automatically. Because there will be nothing to eat. And the time that you are spending cooking, do yajna. And the rest of the time, buy one of those yoga belts. Yoga for, tying up various body parts that refuse to join. There is one belt, Tie the stomach. That's how, what's his name? Ganesha controls his hunger. He found a roadside snake, not rope. And then his, dhoti was slipping. And so he used it as a belt. That's what you have to do. Tie one rope so that you're not hungry, and in the time you meditate, eat occasionally. Whenever even the belt will not work to stave off the hunger, eat, and the rest of the time just meditate. Then only Brahmaloka Prapti. Brahmaloka is the seventh heaven. Otherwise, just some lower rungs of heaven. AC is there, but you have to pay extra for it. Things like that. This is how you survive. So this is what it says. Esha vav punyaha sukritaha brahmaloke brahmalokaha. Yeah, priyam vacham abhivadanti archayantaha esha vav punyaha sukritaha brahmaloke. So punyaha here means pantha, the road. Punya here doesn't mean punya. Punya, this is your punya, means this is the road paved by the stones of your punya. And this is your just deserts, So Bhashya is very simple here, not much to say. Adi Shankara does not waste time in all these flowery things. He would rather spend a lot of time on the next verse, which is, which is giving us, which is the culmination of all these verses 1 to 6 in this chapter. Ehi ti ahvayantyah suvarchasah deeptimatyah kincha priyam ishtam vacham stutyadilakshanam abhivadantyah. Yeah, let's stop there. So, ehi iti ahvayantyah. He just changes ehi iti, ehi Please come, please come. Oh, come fully. Come, get a hug from us. Please come. So he changes it to who. Who means what? Calling. Ahuya, ahuyantyah. Ahuya, ahuyanti means the calling, feminine. Those punyas, these ahutis are calling. These ahutis come a calling. They pay a visit. Oh, you mean the ghee comes in a container and takes me? No. The ahutis that have changed into brilliant punya. Suvarchasaha diptimatyah punyarupena vartante. So those, they have changed into sukrita. Sukrita means punya. How? We saw last time. How did they change? How did the ahutis change into punya? Yeah, not flames, sunbeams. Yeah, the sunbeams. Agni carries them, and then in the form of sunbeams, and they get carried by the sunbeams, some kind of invisible relay service, happens. And then they say, and the sunbeams, the charring ahutis talk to the sunbeams and say, did you get this punya? Sunbeam says, don't worry, we got it, we caught it. And the sunbeams catch the punya and then keep them in abeyance till the fellow, kicks the bucket, and then what? And then the fellow is carried, outward through this method, calling ahutis. Ahutis come a calling in the form of the brilliant punya. Deeptiman, deeptimati here. Deeptimati. Same pratyaya but with feminine form. Deeptimati, deeptimatyau, deeptimatyah. Ahvayanti, ahvayantyau, ahvayantyah. Present participle and feminine, feminine pratyaya. Ktin. And so, then these suvarchas is already feminine, suvarchasaha, deeptimatyah. What do they do? Kimcha, not being content with that, priyam ishtam vacham, in the converting into multiple angels, because the ahutis don't talk. Neither does the punya also is not known to be very verbose. And so what talks? Some celestial beings, they get converted into celestial beings, and what do? They sweet talk. How? Ishtam vacham, they tell you things only that you like. Yeah. And supposing you are the shy type, no, don't praise me, I don't like to be praised. They will discuss football. How was the World Cup? This time not very interesting. Yeah, not very interesting. They will tell football. Supposing you abhor sports, you don't like sports at all, they will discuss something else. Current events they will discuss. So what do you think about that? We had a little hand in it because we engineered that rescue. We did that. Oh, did you do that? How did you do that? Because the person cannot stand to be praised, has a horrible complex, and no matter what the person has done, feels very awkward and wants to get up from the chariot and go, because everybody doesn't want to be praised. So priyam vacham is for the people who like to be praised, and they just get happy. Other people get happy when you praise other things. They don't like to directly be praised. So that's why he changes the word into ishta. Ishta means what the person wants to hear, they talk about. Sometimes they chit chat over the current events, news. No, but the person is interested in galaxies. Then they also have a lot of information about various galaxies. And then they can throw in some celestial trivia. Well, not many people know this, but there's going to be a comet that's going to come. And this comet is astrologically a big doom. It dooms everybody's hopes and desires. But you see, part of your punya was not to be alive during this comet. They say, oh, really? Oh, thank you for telling me. And the astrology hog is very pleased. So like this, Ishtavak, nice, whatever they want to hear. Because not everybody wants to be openly praised. They get uncomfortable. So sometimes the celestials will praise the children and the spouse, and do some things indirectly to make that person feel good. Ishta vacham. And what is that vacham? Take the, for example, stutyadi lakshanam abhivadantyah. This is all present continuous. So meaning talking, calling, shining, punya, and sweet talking. And what is the sweet talk? Ishtavak stutyadi lakshanam. Stuti. Stuti means generally taking the form of praise. Adipadat, other things if they don't want to be praised, current events and little, trivia, general knowledge, celestial lifestyle, know-how, food habits in celestial regions, all these trivia, like a food tour, like this. And so this is what, abhivadantyah, talking very sweetly right in front of the person. Uchcharayantyah, archayantyah, pujayantyascha, eshavah, yushmakam punyah, sukratah pantha, brahmalokah phalasvarupah. Yeah, so uchcharayantyah, enunciating what? Enunciating words of praise and comforting words. And because sometimes people may be miserable of leaving the family and the home behind. So comforting words, ishtavak, making them feel good. Archayantyah, not only that, worshipping them through rose petals and celestial flower petals and rose water and cushions and all these things, making their journey very comfortable. And what do they say? Eshaha, this alone, vaha, yushmakam means yours. Vaha is in plural. Vaha means yushmakam. Yushmakam is plural of you. How many persons are in the chariot? One. Then why is it plural? For respect. Plural for the sake of respect. Like so many, like Spanish and other languages also have, plural for respect. So yushmakam punyah means sukritah pantha, meaning what is this? This is your punya alone, no need to thank. Don't thank us. This is your own deserts. You have done all this. And then what is this punya? Sukritah pantha, the road, the effortless road that looks effortless, paved with the golden karma that you have done. All the good karma that you have done paves the road for a smooth and swift passage. And then what? And then a lovely stay, in what is called seventh heaven resort. Yeah, a wonderful stay. So, this is your own phalarupaha, this is your own punya. Evam priyam vacham abhivadantyah vahanti ityarthah brahmalokah swargah prakaranat. Yeah, so evam, in this manner, sweet talking the yajamana, the punya takes him, with honeyed dulcet tones. And then he clarifies, Adi Shankara clarifies, the Brahmaloka is nothing but Swarga, some form of heaven, not really Brahmaloka, because you haven't done the Upasana here. And Prakaranat means two things. One is because it started with Brahmaji, out of respect, it says Brahmaloka, to keep in with that theme. That is one meaning of Prakarana. Another more immediate meaning of Prakarana means context. So that is one context. And the more immediate context is that of various karmas devoid of meditation. So that is why it is just a lower heaven, where you have to pay for dessert and, AC. And so therefore, in the other higher rungs that is included in the room, here it is not. So you have to pay for it from what? Using the punya money. Yeah, meaning punya runs out faster. This is true. Punya runs out faster in the lower lokas because the time zone is also quicker. The time zone gets more expanded as you go up, into the higher lokas. So up till here, etavadhi, up till here is the pretty rosy picture, painted of the Vedic life, the Vaidika life, accompanied by yajnas coming out of every pore of this person, And then what happens to the pyro at the end, the sacred pyro, at the end of his or her life is talked about in dulcet, sweet tones, and great promises are made. And then what happens, this is a very iffy situation. The great promises, are they untrue? No, they are all true. And yes, the rose water is sprinkled on you, that is true. Yes, the cushions are there. Yeah, you think of this class when you have this, you'll be thinking of this class. Oh, it was just as the Mundaka predicted in Eugene. It is just like that online what I heard. Yes, including the little gel coated lily pads. You'll remember this class. So it's not false, it's all true. And what's the problem? The problem is that you come back with a vengeance. One comes back. That is the only problem. So what's wrong in coming back? Well, what's wrong in coming back is you had hoped not to come back. Number one thing wrong in coming back. Number two is that, starting from birth, congenital defects and difficult birth, with the, what is that, cord around the neck. Many babies are born like that. Yeah. Suffocated before birth. That suffocating experience is all part of the karma. Even birth has not taken place. It's almost this snuffing out experience that the baby had to have. Cord in the, in the thing, water in the lungs, upside down baby. Actually, that's correct. Right side up baby, which is very difficult birth. And all kinds of things. And one time we heard that the baby had a tumor which could be seen in the ultrasound. So they had to operate using these tiny things and take out the tumor because it was very difficult, it was dangerous. It was in a place where the air passage, somewhere in the lung it was, in the esophagus. So that had to be operated even before the baby is born. The mother is anesthetized and the baby is undergoing in utero surgery. This is what the condition. So birth itself is difficult. Even though we rejoice when a baby is born, but we only rejoice because actually the birth took place, because there are so many ifs and buts and slips happening. And then once the birth starts, what? Despair starts. Yeah, despair starts. And and the children learn. Even when they are young, children learn. In fact, I need to learn how to be sad. They learn how to be sad. They learn how to be, they learn from the parents. And raga dveshas, of course, are already learned from before. They are carried in a little backpack, maybe not so little backpack, big backpack, full of prarabdha, powered by prarabdha and powered by raga dveshas are carried. And the whole life is just unfolding sorrow after sorrow, disappointment after disappointment. So all this yajna, so much effort, so much tears lead you to a little holiday, which you could have gone to here only. Yeah. Go look up seventh heaven resorts. I'm sure there is one such thing, more than one such place will be there on earth. Here only you can go locally. Collect some money, If you don't have money, hand out one tin can. Let everybody put some money. And then go. Enjoy. And then what? Then come back. Oh, but I don't want to come back. That's the thing. Nobody wants to come back from the holiday. Because what is it? Back to the daily grind. Yes, this is not just daily grind, weekly grind, yearly grind. And then what? life after life, Jeevik grind. This is not sounding so grand now, is it? Yeah, that's how it is. So the problem with all this, not that this is false, the problem with 1 to 6 that we have built up, all this effort and this holiday out, is that it is temporary. And what I am seeking is the permanent. And this is decried. This temporary effects of the yajna are decried in the next mantra. प्लवाह्येते अदृढा यज्ञरूपाः
प्लवाह्येते अदृढा यज्ञरूपाः
प्लवाह्येते अदृढा यज्ञरूपाः
प्लवाह्येते अदृढा यज्ञरूपाः
अष्टादशोक्तमवरं येषु कर्म
अष्टादशोक्तमवरं येषु कर्म
एतच्छ्रेयो येऽभिनन्दन्ति मूढाः
एतच्छ्रेयो येऽभिनन्दन्ति मूढाः
जरामृत्युन्ते पुनरेवापि यन्ति
जरामृत्युं ते पुनरेवापि यन्ति.
Yeah. Adridaha. Adridaha means uncertain. Uncertain means falling apart. What is uncertain? These planks. What are these planks? Punya planks. And how many are they? 18 planks joined together with a little rope, with a little string. Punya that strings you along. That is the string. 18 planks. Ashtadasham, Ashtadasha Uktam. And we'll see what the 18 are in the Bhashya very soon. 18 here just means 16 priests and husband and wife. 18. That's all it is. Nothing much. We'll see in detail later. So these 18 planks of Punya, all this chanting, all this wanting, all these desire fulfillment tactics described through Agnihotra, Darsha, Paurnamasa, Agrayana, and what else? Atithi, Puja, Chaturmasya, all these various satellite and primary rituals, they give rise, metaphorically. Now we know that objectively the swing low sweet chariot is actually a lowly raft made up of 18 planks set adrift in the ocean of samsara. It's a very flimsy raft. Adridaha, flimsy. Why? Because it cannot stand the force of the tsunami of samsara. In fact, it's not even equipped. If you read the maker's warranty and the small print on this raft, it says, just for the purposes of exhibition, do not attempt to set sail on it. You can't even cross a mud puddle or even a small little pond, rain pond, much less an ocean with this raft. Why? What happens to the ocean? I mean, it's like saying I'm going to go on the surfboard and cross the ocean. How is it possible? That's why these people who go surfing tie the surfboard to the leg. Yeah, so that the surfboard is not lost, because the wave is so much that the surfboard will become adarshanam in a matter of seconds. And now if I tie it to the leg, what? I will also, along with the surfboard, become adarshana. Adarshana means disappear. That's all it is. So it's like using a surfboard to cross the ocean. It's not a proper, mode of transport. It will transport you to temporary delights, but it's not a proper mode of transport. All the time you're putting the nails in between not the coffins, but in between the planks, you're tying the thread a little tightly, even as you're trying to, navigate with the oar from the oncoming storm. Because nothing like an oceanic storm. Horrible. Horrible. And then what else are you doing? You're trying to, one raft is coming apart, so you're just holding it together. The other side, it is already washed away. Now the 18 planks have been reduced into 3. And you're, wobbling on them, trying to sit, no, stand, no. You're literally treading the water, and then everything is coming at you. And the shark is saying, oh good, dinner. And that's what the shark is saying. And what is this ocean? The ocean of becoming. I want to become. The ocean of wanting. The ocean of wanting to become is called samsara. The ocean of want is samsara. Samsara is not jagat. Samsara just means an ocean of endless wants, full of ragadveshas, seaweed of ragadveshas, sharks of doubt, whales of despair, because they are huge. Despair is huge. Yeah. Sometimes the despair, can be cheered up, it sprays a little bit, okay, and the rest of the time it's just there. And then it topples the raft also unknowingly. And then what? And then there are crocodiles. What are the crocodiles? The crocodiles represent all kinds of, notions of limitations which catch you frequently. And then not to talk about all the octopuses of entanglement. Yeah, all kinds of things. One is just, entangled in. So you see now the previous verse with all the fanning devatas, which is not, this is the truth. This is the truth. That is the relative truth. This is the absolute truth. Yeah, that is seen through the lenses of a holiday. Nice. But what happens before and after this holiday? And therefore how this holiday becomes a, what is that? Horrid day. That's what it becomes. This is what, it's not a holiday anymore. Suddenly it's not a very nice day. Suddenly it's not a very nice life. Because these planks of punya are unable, while they are able to give me a good time, are unable to navigate what? Samsara. What is samsara? That which keeps on becoming more and more difficult to maintain, to negotiate. And what is this samsara? My endless ocean of wants and my despair about not being able to get the wants. It includes all my efforts, small and big, of trying to manufacture these wants. It includes the despair and the disappointments in between the wants, where I feel like giving up. And then somehow by some, powered by the ragadveshas again, I get going. And then one life ends only to begin again. And in this tsunami of despair, doubt, not to talk of other jivas also wanting to negotiate their own wants. So imagine all these rafts on the ocean. It looks like that, what is that? In Thailand, there is one sea market. Not sea, this is the river market. So you go shopping in a ferry, and then there are other selling ferries. Soon enough, and it's very colorful. You can see pictures, and soon enough, on that Saturday or Sunday, the river looks very beautiful because these ferries overflowing with watermelons, overflowing with flowers, overflowing with household goods and pots and all these things. They are just peppering the whole river. And then you are also in a shopping boat, not shopping cart, shopping boat, shopping plava. And then you go, and then you have to kind of navigate, because on either side there are these river shops in the form of ferries, and you are in the ferry. And then you are trying to go, and you stop there and you buy some flowers, you buy some coconuts, you buy some watermelon. Don't think it's so easy, because there are other ferries shopping and other ferries selling. So there is a ferry jam. Yeah. You don't know, you can't even reverse because there is somebody behind. And same thing, there is a plava jam. Yeah. Jam doesn't mean what you put on bread. Jam doesn't mean, what the rock musicians do. No, jam as in you cannot get out. Yes. So there are other plavas competing for the same thing that you want. That's what it is. And so therefore, in fact, it's a very miserable time. So these ehi, these calling punyas, is that false? No. This is before the punya was spent. This is a question of before and after. And we know these photos very nicely. All these over the internet, there are photos. Before, the person lost 200 pounds. You can't even see the face, And then after 200 pounds, then also you cannot see. You have to look with a magnifying glass. So we know these before after photographs. They got this from the Veda only. So Veda gives the before scenario in verse number 6 and then gives the after scenario in verse number 7. Before the expenditure of the punya, everything is good, everything is wonderful. And after this, one more finite experience in the hereafter. What happens? The idea is yet one more finite experience in the hereafter does not cancel, what? The desire, neither it cancels. My desire is for the infinite, that fact it does not cancel. Neither does it cancel the fact that the ocean of samsara is an infinite ocean of wants. Where my, desire for the infinite is projected onto the wants. And so the wants have taken on the transference of becoming infinite. And I continue to think of myself as finite. And then I am at the service of the wants, which are infinite. And I keep praying for the wants to be fulfilled. And every prayer is a thread that holds the plava together, only to be separated, because prayer is karma, karma is finite, karma planks are finite, everything is, finite. And the moral of this mantra is very simple. You cannot bank on the plank. Yes. Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. Cannot bank on this plank. Or what about a series of planks? No. No banking on planking. That's all it is. Even plankton, I think it's called plankton. It's a particular kind of seaweed. Maybe they got it also from the Veda. So, you can bank on plankton because it has some nutritional value. Cannot bank on the plank. That is what it's in one word. This is what is the sum total of this. Plava hi, yasmat hi, because ete plavaha, these punya shaped rafts, planks, adridaha, this plank shaped raft is adridaha, an inflatable raft full of holes. Adridaha means uncertain, flimsy. Why are they flimsy? Because they are in the form of yajna. Yajna rupaha, plavaha, ete, these adridaha. There are 18 things strung together. Ashtadashoktam. Ashtadashoktam. Avaram. Why? Because they are constituted by avara. What is avara? Karma. Lowly karma. What? How dare you call it lowly karma? I was sweating in the fire and I was all the time offering ghee. Lowly? Who is lowly? How can you call it lowly? Well, karma is lowly because it's for two reasons. It's not accompanied by upasana, meditation. Therefore, it is lowlier than the other kind of karma that is accompanied by upasana. The other reason it's lowly is because, it is finite. It produces finite results. It cannot produce vara. It cannot produce para. So this is another theme in this Upanishads. Para, which started with para vidya, and then apara here is called avara. Very nice pun. Apara, not para. Apara, non-absolute. Apara is avara, lowly. And later the same Upanishad is not going to forget. We may forget what she said. She is not going to forget, and she is going to remind us later on. Vidyate hridaya granthihi. The heart knot is torn asunder. Chidyante sarva samshayaha. All doubts are cleared. Kshiyante cha asya karmani. All karmas are dissipated. All karmas dissipate. When? Tasmin brahmani. Pare brahmani tasmin drishte. When one sees in that ultimate absolute Brahman this avara, this lowly self that one thought oneself to be. Or para, the cause, avara, the effect. When the effect is seen as non-separate from the cause, all doubts disappear. This is the fruit of the knowledge. This is what it is. And the same words, para and avara, are taken right to the end. Towards the end, this is going to come. This mantra is fantastic. Very beautiful mantra. And here also the Upanishad, even while dealing with the mundane fact of how the punya cannot take us anywhere, except glub, glub, glub deeper into samsara, even then she brings in quietly this word. Ashtadashoktam yeshu. Which karma, for which karma? This 18 planks, avaram. This is not para, this is avara. Anything that is not para is apara. Anything that is apara is avara. Avaram yeshu karma. So which karma is lowly? Why? Because, literally it is not, it is lowly because there is a higher kind of karma plus meditation that gives higher lokas. And also figuratively it is lowly because it is extremely finite, and the finite is incapable of producing what is called infinite, which is the truth of yourself, which is not a product, which is you. Yeah. And then what happens as a result? Etat shreyah. Thinking this is moksha, thinking this is the infinite. Abhinandanti, they worship this path of karma, of giving, of yajna, of ghee. A path that is slippery because too much ghee is spilled on the road while doing yajna. A slippery path that leads to, some punya bones breaking fast, that's all. A slippery path that dissipates. And so down this slippery slope they go, First they line the path with ghee, and then they say vi, and they try to slip through moksha, thinking this is moksha, and they come down into the loka of martyas, into the mortal realm. It's just a little punya slide, that's all. Like children go slipping and sliding when it snows. That's all it is. You make a little makeshift, if nothing is available, one cardboard box, and then you go down. That's all. That's what the child does. This is what it is. It's a slippery slope. And why? And then because it is just made up of, it's strung together, made up of styrofoam, cardboard, whatever the karma is. The karma is very flimsy. Karma cannot stand inquiry about its finitude, because karma dissipates. Karma is finite because the resources used are finite. But I used 10 gallons of ghee. 10 gallons is a finite number or not? Yes. Why is it taking so long? Yeah, of course it is. So, it is finite. What about 20 gallons? Yes. That's even more finite. Yeah. Everything that has a number is finite. And you have used finite resources. And then you expect to gain the infinite. How? The infinite is you, it's already gained. When you make the mistake. One makes the mistake of thinking that the infinite is outside of oneself. And then one makes the infinite mistake of thinking that it is a product. And then one engages in karma. And then one cries because all one gets is one gold star. That's all. Given by a celestial. You did good karma here. Shabash. Great. You don't want the gold star. What you want is the gold that is you. Hiranye, the same, Hiranmaye Pare Koshe, the same thing it says. Same Upanishad says. That golden self, which is myself alone, that is what I want. I want to discover myself as a non-wanting being. That is what I want. And wantlessness is not a product ironically produced by wants. No, that makes no sense. Wantlessness is your nature. Wanting is a product of avidya. So what do I have to address? Not the wanting, but the avidya. I can't strive to be wantless because the wants appear to be there. And I can't strive to be wantless also because I'm already wantless. And so therefore what do I need? I need to know that my only want is to discover that wantlessness, which is that infinite I, which is a non-wanting I, which is a glorious I, which is free of all limitations, which is whole, and not knowing that is moksha. That is shreyas. Not knowing that, what does the person say? This is the way. Abhinandanti. They celebrate, they write books on the importance of yajna. I heard one paper, this was very interesting, on yajna and how the smoke purifies the environment and the ghee that is used and the firewood that is used and all these things. Okay, fine, well enough. But it's not the ultimate. It's not the ultimate. So, abhinandanti, ye abhinandanti, those that praise this yajna and what is that? The worship of the finite. Those that praise the worship of karma and finite as leading to the ultimate are moodhaha, extremely deluded people. Ye abhinandanti, te moodhaha. And what do? Nothing. Punarapi anti. Again, in gatau, plural, they come back. Punarapi ayanti, it should be. Punarapi yanti, or they go. They don't come back, they go, let us say. Let's just take it at its word. Punarapi yanti, again and again they go. Where do they go? Jara cha vrityuncha, they go to birth and death. Or you can say punarapi ayanti, they come back repeatedly to a world that is marked by repeated births and deaths. And even in the span of between one birth and one death, so much heartache. And so they repeatedly repeat this, endless. They are on endless repetition. It's like on some of these players. When you play the music, you can put it on endless repeat. There is one button. Yeah. It has a little circle on it. And then you push that button and the same song repeats itself. Until you feel like going out of the room, You can put it on endless repeat. And it's like the jiva's button has been reset to the default setting of endless repeat. Oh, I'm born. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I grew old. Oh, I didn't get what I want. That. Next. Oh, I'm born. Oh, and imagine, listening to the same refrain again and again. In between this, little celestial serenading. That's all. What a life. What a life. More we'll see when we come back. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Take a little break and come back.